it's that time of the week, once again, where all the chapters are coming out, and one of the chapters I really look forward to every single week is the newest chapter of Boku no Hero Academia. And so I just got around to finally reading the chapter. I've reread it a couple of times to kind of get a full understanding, and overall, a very good chapter, a lot of death flags, and some good setup for things to come. But one of the first things I want to dive into when it comes to this chapter, I had the page pulled up, is Shin Niimuto. So Shin Niimuto is one of the 8 expendables. And in the previous chapters, we saw that Twice and Toga revealed their quirks. They, mentioned how their quirks work, and I went into the details of that and was talking like, okay, so obviously the reason why they revealed, their quirks and the identity of them and how they work was because someone on Overhaul's side had the ability to manipulate someone and force them to say things that they rather actually keep secret. Now, we don't know necessarily how the ability completely works, like at that moment, but it was obvious that someone was, manipulating Twice and Toga to say some information that they wanted to keep hidden. However, it is revealed now that Shin is the one that forced them to talk. But also, this character definitely could be very powerful in the right hands, or how the quirk is used. But it really makes you wonder exactly how Toga and Twice were able to kind of work around this quirk when they said they don't want to take down, Overhaul's operation. So it really makes you wonder, how did they manage to get around that? I mean, the only way I could think of is if, they were able to overcome the quirk because they necessarily didn't want to bring them down. It was technically Shigaraki that wanted to do it, or something else had to be done. Regardless, though, it is revealed now that they were manipulated into revealing the information, so what we did hear about is actually true. We probably didn't get everything about their quirk, but overall, we got some details on it. Because, I mean, when you look at Togato when he revealed his quirk and how it works, it seems like overall the details, every single individual nitty-gritty detail was not revealed. So this lets us know that when it comes to revealing information, you don't have to, say every single thing. You could just say certain little things, and that's about it. You don't tell them, the weaknesses or whatever. But anyways, though, getting off of that, let's talk about the other person that's in this chapter, the one that is like a drunk. So, you have Yamato Togata. He actually is in a state to where he can't even move. His overall sense of balance is completely fucked up. He can't stand properly, fight back properly, because this dude's quirk is able to make it to where he feels like he's drunk. That's exactly how you can explain the way the effects are being applied to Togata. He can't move properly. He feels like he's dizzy or whatever, and he just can't stand up, and so in the middle of a fight, it's just not going to work out for him, unless he's someone that can do drunk kung fu or something, but we know for a fact he probably can't. So Togata, he is not in a good spot, because if he's trying to fight back with his fist or whatever, it just won't work, especially if you're fighting someone like this, and then also someone's using a gun. However, Togata, since he has the ability to phase through things, this is actually something that he can kind of overcome. But anyways, though, with this other character introduced, we gotta talk about the big head honcho in the room, Overhaul. So I want to point out a certain page in this chapter that stood out to me, and it's page, I'm trying to get to the page, it's page 17, okay, if you're counting the color page and stuff on MS. Page 17, you see it toward Togata, you see just a white screen of light, you see Overhaul on the top panel, he's looking over where, Togata was, and then Togata, he phased, he went under the ground, and then he popped up right behind Overhaul, and Overhaul's still looking in the same direction, but then in a matter of a second, he looks over, sees Togata, and he looks at him, and then he actually is able to dodge. Because you see it to where he tries to hit him, but Overhaul actually dodges out of the way and takes no damage. He doesn't try to, counter or fight him or block him. He just dodged, which is very, very impressive, because it shows how skilled Overhaul is in hand-to-hand combat, or at the very least, his ability to maneuver around. I mean, we know his quirk is very dangerous from what we've seen. He has the power of reconstruction and deconstruction in both of his hands, and that can be absurdly broken. However, Togata, he's broken in a lot of ways too, but there is a lot of counters to him. And since technically he can phase through all things, that would mean that he's he's probably the best person for the job to fighting Overhaul. Because Overhaul, he's the one that reconstructs and deconstructs matter. And since technically Togata, when he goes to where things phase through him or whatever, people phase through him, he is no longer there. It's like his matter is just not there at all. So he is a good counter. However, he does have to phase in some parts of his body or leave it in the actual physical realm. So that would mean that if Overhaul figures this out, he aims for that certain spot, GG, you're fucking done. So that's very scary. But here's the thing though, what's really scary about this is that Overhaul has the ability to maneuver like this, which it has already been implied that he is very strong because we know he's beat Rappa. We know for a fact that Overhaul has destroyed his ass, and we know it's been multiple times. And the main thing you gotta wonder about when it comes to that, was it just the quirk that overpowered him, or was he able to actually just fight him for a bit, like dodge him, and then lead into with the counter? Because someone like Rappa that is very strong, very fast, I highly doubt someone like, you know, a normal person could be able to react to him quick enough to be able to use their quirk, especially even if your quirk is OP, like Reconstruction or Deconstruction, you still got to factor in that some people are going to be very fast. And for him to be able to dodge like that proves that he is not someone just relying on his quirk. He is very strong, and you should not underestimate him by no means. So I'm really looking forward to this upcoming fight, especially seeing how Togata faces him, because one wrong move, it spells curtains for him. He's dead. But I want to point out something, though, that many might have noticed or might not have noticed. It really depends on your viewpoint of this chapter, but I realized it on my second read on the situation that Togata is in and how bad it could be for him in this fight. So go to the final page, and you see how Togata, he managed to grab Eri. He has her. And in many people's eyes, they would look at this like it's a win. He's won. He managed to grab the girl that has been tormented for such a long time. He has kind of saved her. However, this brings up a new challenge, new difficulties for Togata to face. Number one, think about Togata's quirk. He phases through everything. However, he cannot phase other objects. That means he cannot phase Eri through walls. He cannot phase her through the ground unless there's other things we don't know about when it comes to his quirk. So from what we know is that he is going to have his body physically there to be able to hold her. So that automatically means that he has a weakness right there on his body. To just hold her in his hands, he's going to have to stay to where he's like not using his quirk. But then we also know a big thing about this is that Eri is capable of deactivating quirks, or attacking quirks. And what's to say that Eri's entire body, for instance, just touching her skin or whatever, causes it to where you can't activate your quirk? I mean, we have no idea. Now, I know many are going to go back a couple of pages, or actually the page right before it, and assume that, no, it doesn't work like that, because you clearly see Togata, he phases through Eri's head when he's trying to kick Shin. But that's not the point here. Remember, his quirk was already activated in that moment, so technically he would be able to phase through anything. Even if it's something that can attack quirks, he's not necessarily there. So he can phase through anything. But then, here's the big thing though, when he's actually not using his quirk, if he's touching someone then, that means, or someone like Eri, he is not able to phase anymore. So, now that he is deactivated for that good moment to grab her, he might not be able to use his quirk, which would automatically mean that he is fucked. Because we know that Overhaul's been completely just blowing up Eri into like a pile of goo and reforming her again, which is just completely disturbing, and he's probably going to do that. He's probably going to go to Eri, blow her up in Togata's hands, gonna be like for nothing, and then he's gonna blow up like Togata, because Togata, he can't really phase in that moment because all the blood is gonna be over him. That's another big thing. Let's say even then that Eri cannot deactivate his quirk at this moment, okay? Let's just say that none of it deactivates. He can still use it. However, the point still stands of what I said earlier. He's holding her, and so he can't make it to where she falls through his hands, or she'll hit the floor and the enemies will recapture her again. So let's say Overhaul goes in, blows up her arm, blood's gonna get all over Togata, he's not gonna be able to use quirk. That could definitely be a potential possibility here. Maybe because of that, she will deactivate his quirk because she died, and then he's gonna reform her once everything's done, but that's messed up. That's legit messed up. That could be the case here. So Toda might die. He might die in this fight. There's a lot of death flags around him. I mean, he resembles All Might a lot. It seems like a possibility. It legit does. So, yeah. It's a good chapter, though. Very, very good chapter of Boku no Hero Academia. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi